Your cups, please do help yourselves to hot chocolates. Alright, there's hot chocolate, you can tabo or
Minister Tabo.
Minister Tabo.
Tabo point.
We refer to it as warm tabo, but there is no communication or conversation. So we are going to conduct a conversation about mental health today with the view from both males and females. We want to get an idea of how you guys experience mental health issues, and I'm going to pass it to Mr. Tabo and you'll ask questions, sir.
Yes, hello again. Stop using me as a reference, but I like it. Nonetheless, you guys have spoken on how community perceives our topic, mental. The misconceptions around it, what they think about it, and how we should behave. You touched economic factors, family backgrounds, but now we are moving to how do we experience or deal with mental issues from both genders and to those identifying as others. So yes, I'll repeat again. We will now be looking at how you experience and how to deal with mental health issues from males, females, and those identifying as others. Amen. I'm taking hands. Amen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's 5. You love the mic. 5. Oh.
Stigma is a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person, whereas a stereotype is defined as a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type or thing. So I'd like to know from the audience what stigmas or stereotypes have been spread about mental health disorders, mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, and so on and so forth. What misconceptions are there about mental health issues? One, is there a hand from that slide? 3. Alright, we're going to start with you at the back.
I feel like once people were free or were comfortable with talking about a lot of mental disorders and they came out about the ones that they had, everybody just thought it's fashionable. People are doing it because it's the norm, it's popular, it's the trend that's happening right now. And I feel like that also took away like the seriousness and the severity of these mental issues, because everybody just thought it was cosmetic and it was a personality trait instead of something that people are actually dealing with every day and fighting.
Good evening, everybody.
With my peers, I think mental health, they have much more knowledge to it. But when it comes to family and the community, they don't have time for those things. If you talk about depression, they'll just laugh at you because so yeah, that's how they use mental health.
And I just wanted to add that, like, with my family and most African families, that this thing of, like, if you're struggling with something, you should, like, keep it to yourself. You should know, I mean, it wasn't to you, that type of thing, you know. Like, now you're taking out your family problems there or your personal problems, so your mom is like, you're actually embarrassing me when you see other people. Or they're like, oh, told the psychology that I didn't get so well. Because black parents, they very defensive. You know, and they be toxic and they try to figure out, because such things also contribute to like mental health. That this thing that you're taking out family secrets or taking out your problems, so you're also embarrassing them, so then it makes it hard to actually speak out. I feel like also the older people in our communities, they don't know about these things. They weren't really taught. Like, for instance, my grandmother had a friend with depression. All she knew was that her friend would get sad sometimes.
Good evening, everyone. I just like to add that she said something about triggers. So I just want to say that sometimes there's a deeper issue to whatever you're feeling. Like there's a root to why you're feeling like that way. So I just want to say sometimes you should go and seek professional help. Someone said that therapy sessions are expensive, which is true. But there's on Hatfield main campus, there's a counseling students or something. I think it's free. Apart from that, there's online free therapy sessions. I'll just mention one that I know of. It's called Vita Nova. It's free. You can make appointments with the therapist on whichever day suits you, how many other times that you need to consult with them. So yeah, I just wanted to add to share that there are free therapy sessions out there.
Yes, the group is number 4. Yes, Madam, with us. Who's number 4? It's you. I won't say
I do agree with what my brother was saying there. It's very true. It has to do with the thing you guys said about stereotypes and stigmas. From a male perspective, or generally, it's seen as mental health problems or having mental health problems is almost seen as a weakness. Personally, I was lucky enough that when I was going through whatever I was going through, the people around me, or the people that I had around me, or the friends that I had around me, they were very understanding. So the best way for me personally to deal with it is to talk to my friends, talk to people that I have close to me, the church, my family, my sisters, because my sisters are of a common age, so they understand what I was going through, and they were in university as well, so they understood what I was going through. And my friends, they also understood as well. So talking to somebody really helps you get through that. But I do agree with what my brother was saying, that like, as a male, it's hard to deal with these things because it's almost seen as a weakness if you have mental health issues and such things. So, yeah.
So, sorry, just repeat the question. How do we deal with the experience of mental health? How are we supposed to deal when we encounter such problems from our mental, from wherever they arise from? Is that true? Amen.
I think, I think I can answer it a bit more on a personal level because I'm in a state where, I don't know how to handle with these things. So what I try to do in my own personal life is I try breathing exercises. I try to put off all electronics. I even try to stay away from work sometimes. I shouldn't be saying this. Those are some small things that I've been trying to implement to sort of lessen the burden on my mind. But if I were to say they were effective right now, I would be lying. But what works for me or for someone else will be different. So these methods that I'm trying to implement might work for you, or they might work for a friend. So it's something that you can try to suggest, because I know breathing exercises is something that is quite universally used to sort out a lot of problems that people experience. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mandela. As much as I had when the parents
good evening once more. My hand will be up a couple of times tonight because this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. I believe it's of the utmost importance for a community to have these kind of talks so that we set awareness on the importance of mental health, being in a good mental state. For it's very proper to, as a person, to be in a very healthy mental state, because when you're in hopefully a proper mental state, you become more productive on how you view life and how you gravitate towards doing things in life. So we need to create more platforms like these so that people can find solace in how they can actually get to deal with their problems. So in a sense, whereby we start having more and more talks like these, it helps people find comfort in speaking more of the things that it reduces the rate of suicide. It creates a more healthy community for the people around, which is very much important for people to be raised and grow up in a very healthy society. So for us to have such societies, we have to raise more awareness of mental health issues, how we can tackle them, how we can deal with them, how we can create support systems on how people can help each other deal with mental health issues. So it's very pivotal to actually host such talks once in a while. It's very much important.
Sometimes I don't blame our parents because they grew up in a society where there's no such of mental health. So, but
they are listening to what our mental problems is there.
And they will tell you that
When I tell you that's why we have mental health problems.
so sometimes we should not judge our parents, but try to educate them about mental health
so that we can get
Try and educate our family members in your house.
Yeah, the other thing is that I think I picked it somewhere there. The grandmother does not know, right? There are a lot of, we're back on. There are a lot of conversations around language, right? Yeah. I am third or fourth language English speaker, right? And I'm learning all about depression, anxiety, mental health and all of that. And I have to go back home and explain to a family or a community that is seventh language English speaker or something like that. And if you look at it, there are not that there are no words, but we don't know how to have conversations in our group.
Hello everyone. I think the reason why we need to continue hosting events like this is because I'm talking about myself. Sometimes I feel like I can just need someone, just talk to someone about my problems, because if I'm alone, I think of things like suicide, or I feel like life is unfair, but the opportunity that I see or hear other people talk about their problems and hear that Tabo was able to conquer this situation, I also get hope that someday I'll also be okay and everything that's happening at that moment will pass. So yeah, we should continue hosting events like this. Thank you.
That when we talk more about these topics, we find comfort and community on dealing with these things. I remember having a conversation with Baroness Carmen, our chairperson, and we were talking about anxiety and depression. And she said something, and she said that so many people actually struggle with anxiety and depression. These should no longer be labeled as mental health disorders because they've become so normal and they are a norm. So rather, let's relabel them and let's change the narrative around mental health disorders that we may face. So also having topics like these helps us break the stereotypes and stigmas around mental health. So I want to know from you, first of all, would you like me to define what a stereotype and a stigma is? Okay, let me define it. That I'd like to take comments on is how can we change the narrative around mental health. So we have spoken about the perspectives, the misconceptions, and all of that jazz on mental health, but how can we change it around? How can we educate our communities, educate our friends, and just switch things up? Just a few hands and then we can close off the evening.
Hi again. I'm assuming that most of us in this room are going to be educators. I could be wrong, but since we're all going to be educators, we can start it small. There are some who teach in primary schools, others in high schools, in poor communities, in wherever, everywhere really. I feel like us as teachers, we have the platform to raise the awareness in the little ones as well as the teenagers, etc. And if we take that opportunity to educate them, to help them, to let them know, then we can be well on our way into producing generations that are more aware and they know what to do in such situations.
Okay, also talking to your young cousin, whatever as females that we are going through, males can also go through them. So we need to be considering and be supportive towards the male figures.
Thank you so much. That's our kind of people.
So Taba asked the question, how do we experience or deal with mental health as either male, female, or other? From my side, I'd like to say that it is great that we're being educated about mental health. We have access to all this information. However, we can be easily misled on social media because we're constantly being bombarded by information from people who aren't necessarily professionals, and they're sharing their opinions on mental health. And I've seen that as a woman, it is natural for us to experience PMS. So not post-menstrual stress syndrome, but also pre-menstrual stress syndrome. And because we are misled or over-informed about mental health, it's easy to think that I am sinking into depression right now, but we are not aware of our biological changes that are actually happening. So I think we should also be informed on how our bodies work and not quickly jump to, this is mental health, I'm dying. No, but rather, what is actually happening to my body? Let me sit down, let me study myself. There seems to be like a cycle that I experience every single month where I face a period of depression.
It's all about what makes you happy. Just try to be happy most of the time, but sometimes we question that to happiness, because sometimes we're too excited and then you add pleasure to the other people. I don't know if I make sense. But what makes you happy, you love hitting people, you move me, and then the next day I also get happy. So just be happy, but have boundaries and ensure that it does not also hinder others. And we move to number 5.
Yeah, I'll come.
I think one of the ways to help you deal with your mental health is being able to identify what triggers that problem. So there's no universal way of dealing with it. So once you are able to identify what exactly triggers it, will help you solve how to deal with it in a special, unique way. For example, I'm a religious person, but I know that not everything needs me to run to religion. It's important to understand that this certain thing was triggered by this certain thing, and I need to solve it in this certain way.
Something that I like to emphasize is that most of the society put pleasures on the male. Something that we need to understand as both male and females and also bisexuals, as that males also have their
I'd like to believe I'm in a proper mental health state in a sense of I'm conscious of all my surroundings and I contribute in a good sense to the people around me. And I'm very much positive towards how I view life. In a sense, I just believe we have to a certain degree, you have to make peace with whatever problems you have and also understand that having problems is a part of life, but be positive of how you can deal with them. To a certain extent, I would say I am in a very good, healthy mental state because I'm conscious of everything that's happening around me. I can handle it, I can deal with it, and I'm doing proper mentally. Oh, side note, just because you're in a healthy mental state doesn't mean you don't have problems. You have them, but you can be able to deal with them in a proper, healthy way. That's being in a proper, healthy way.
Hi guys, so just building on Speaker One's point, Okay, so basically I think that it's always been taboo to speak about mental health, like in public places and public areas, right? So I think having such discussions is opening platform, not only for those discussions, like for those topics to be spoken about, you know, amongst us as young people struggling with those things, but also to just give, support in a way, like to create a community, a support for the people who are going through things. Because with mental health, I can't just look at someone and be like, someone's going through depression. Like, that's not visible physically, you know. Or maybe for some people it might be, but yeah. So I think when we create a support community for people, it helps them in a way because they get to, in a way, they get to be aware of their state. So say, as Speaker 2 have said, if we share about our problems, right, and then someone else who wasn't really aware that what they were going through is part of mental health or is really a big problem and they need to see someone about it, but they actually get to be aware in this space, and then tomorrow
your young siblings, so they can go to school and educate their friends as well.
I would like to touch on the misconception and stereotypes of men. So maybe we can start with slogans and movements. There's a saying that says that mankind and men, we should start saying that mankind and men should be emotional selfish.
I love that. You got the right kind. For those who didn't catch it, there's a slogan that says a man shouldn't cry. And she's saying, let us switch it up and say, men should indeed cry. So I like that.
And before educating others, we should educate ourselves on the mental health topic, because you might be ignorant that you have a mental issue.
So you cannot go to another person talking about mental health and stuff without acknowledging yourself that you have a problem.
You can't speak to other people about mental health issues when you haven't acknowledged the problems that you might have within yourself. So first check yourself, educate yourself, and then reach out and educate those around you. Any last comments, closing comments and responses from the audience? I don't know you.
Because there are issues to get out, understand? But you're not there. So one thing that works for me is speaking to a female. Can be your girlfriend, which is my girlfriend in this case. But I think it's, for me, like I said, it's subjective. Talking to another man is good. There are a few men, like these two, or this three, and these four, that will listen to you and actually help you. But I prefer talking to a female. Thank you.
I'm sorry to hijack you all, but I think I should share this. The way that I deal with a stress or mental health issue, because I've been through a lot. So how I deal with it, I cry a lot. Like I cry the whole night. I don't care if it's 5 hours or the next coming 5 weeks, I cry. And I realize that works for me, honestly, because when I wake up in the morning, I feel better. Even when I cry, I touch my heart, I can feel, yeah, no, the pain is going out right now. So, and even you guys, like me, don't be ashamed to cry. It's not wrong to cry. If you're feeling pain, it's not wrong to cry.
And then they live in lavish, and I'm like, oh, why am I not there? So the things that we are interested in, they have a great impact on our mental state. So if you are investing time into your social media, watch the people that you follow. How are they influencing or impacting on your life? You know, I like to consider myself as an influencer. And not your social media influencer, but then your personal life influencer. You see? So if you all have influencers on social media, how are they contributing? Is it because they are wearing the fanciest clothes or the most expensive watches and whatnot, or driving the fastest cars? Or are they giving to your life? Are you growing from following these people? So just watch your interest as you go along. And as for you guys, I grew up in a female home, so it's just females all over the place. So I'm very vocal. So when I'm going through something, someone will know, and I cry and I do that. But at times it doesn't work, to be honest. So I would also like to say that do participate in such events so that you can get awareness of the kind of solutions. Now I know when I go back home, I delete WhatsApp, I delete Instagram, I delete this, and then maybe I'll be fine as well. So always be on the lookout for such things. So